I want the bounds to be between 0 and 16 because you don't want to be able to hit it backwards. So shot angle is going to be between 0 and 16. In fact, it'll probably end up being between like 4 and 12 or something because you don't want to hit it sideways either. Ah, gotcha. Cool. So that should work for shot angle. What do we got here? We got miss offset. No clue what these values are going to even mean yet, so I'm just going to do a 0 to 99 and leave it alone. Same thing with wind, 0 to 99 and leave it alone for now until I know what to do with it. Ball height positioner, 0 to 99 until I know what to do with it. What's this? Target score. Let's say 0 to 999 just to be safe. I don't think there's going to be any way in any of the modes to get a score like that. Maybe murder mode just won't end and you'll just keep playing until... Actually, it's got to end somehow. I don't know, maybe a timer or something? I don't know. Murder score, same deal. In fact, yeah, with timer score, I don't think it's ever going to get higher than like 200. In fact, it should never be able to get higher than 100 if 10 points is max and I'm playing in 10 targets. But just to be safe. And then we got these random counters that I don't know what to do with them yet. Sweet. Alright, so now I got to figure out how digital Adam is going to work. This is going to be fun. So he is going to be this big. And I'm just going to start drawing stuff. I do not know how golfers look when they swing. I don't have a reference image. I'm just going to throw crap at stuff. Well, I don't know what I'm doing there. That's not looking good. He's not a hunchback. Adam's a normal dude. There's no hunch. And I will go over this and make it look real eventually. I'm just doing some relative size / let's figure out how to make this thing work stuff. Right, so that's going to be his golf hand. Why I keep making him look like such a fat ass? I gotta fix this. His legs are fantastic. Woo! I just won an award for Best Art of the Year for 2014 through 2019, actually, for just drawing this right now. So you'll be seeing me in the spotlight for the rest of your lives. No, and that's not how legs go when you're doing that. Your side view of legs would be kind of close to each other. Well, that's close enough for now. Gotta move them back. I think I overshot the necessary size on this thing. I think we need to make it a little smaller. So let's do that now. Let's try 24. And 40. Ooh, not quite. Cool. Okay, so we're going to make him look way better here in a minute, but for right now, so he's going to... Oh man, how am I going to animate the swing? I suck at animation. I don't make an arm move like that. The whole body's going to have to turn. Damn it. This is completely my fault. I'm the one who decided what I was going to do, so... we're going to have the club. And the club right now looks like it's going to be super tiny. Well, let's give it a shot. Why not? I'm on a roll. Oops. So, I'm going to keep his hand right there at the height that it is to kind of get my positioning down. Right, so. Yeah, this club's going to be baby style. It's alright though. This is murder golf. This ain't normal golf. Woo! That is totally a golf club. And all this stuff is, everybody, this is... Thanks, man. Yeah, this is all relative size and position stuff. I'm going to go through and kind of gloss the art up and make it look, as nice as I'm able in the time allotted. But right now, I just want to know how big are things, where do things connect in terms of eventual puppet rigging, in terms of attaching this club to his hands, and kind of animating that on top of his body swing animation. Believe it or not, I've done very little of that. I had a game that I made several years ago where I had a sword puppet rigged to a guy's hand that kind of moved as his hand moved. And it didn't really look that great. It was kind of hard. So that actually may be a little bit of an unexpected roadblock eventually too. We'll see. Oh, and I got to make this proper size. So let's say width of 10. That's got to cover it, right? Yeah. And then height of 24. Height of 20. Hey man, it's something. I'm gonna have to move his arms up. I'm gonna move his arms up. So I want the hands to be hitting right about here. I'm getting better. Once you've worked in the games industry and seen actual artists make art, there's no way to feel good about yourself. Like, I cannot even adequately explain how incredible it is to watch an actual artist work. I was talking to my buddy Marshall actually the other day about this, and there's this weird moment where you watch an artist start to draw, and it's like the most awful looking thing. There's all these nasty looking ovals and weird shapes, and how's this ever going to turn into anything? And there's this super crazy 3-minute moment where everything goes from weird looking ovals to holy crap, that's going to be a perfect piece of art in 2 hours. And you can just, that moment, or that 3 moments is just unreal to watch that transformation take place. The shape to actual art or the shape to on the way to actual art is just magical to watch happen. Get Adam a little skinnier here. There we go. That's still not quite right. I need to angle the club a little more, but that'll work for now. And I'm going to have to tie the... Ooh, there's a lot more to this than I thought. Golf games are a lot more complicated than they seem on the surface. A lot of little moving parts. Well, I'm going to call this my first break because I got a decent little chunk of pre-work done. I got all the design stuff, well, most of it anyway, squared away. Still not sure how to use a couple of my variables, but I'm on my way. So I'm going to take a little, 5-6 minute break away from my computer. When I come back, in fact, I'm going to play some of the music that I'm going to be attempting to cover when I come back. But when I come back, I'm going to break open my music program and I'm going to show you guys how that whole thing works. So, give me until, 2:55 at the absolute latest, and I will be back here rocking some musical worlds. Alrighty. I'll be back soon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd say don't go anywhere, but go do something. Get up out of your chairs. Do something fun for the next couple minutes. I will see you shortly. Hello everyone, I'm back. Alright, so time to get some music happening. So you just listened to a couple songs from this series that I'm just utterly in love with. My buddy Adam is a really big fan of this series as well, so I figured it was only fitting to remix music from this series and for that to be the background music for his game. So let's open up ModPlug and get this thing going. Fun side note, the Prophet Paul, who you see right now in chat, was actually the person who introduced me to this program. Oh man, how long ago was it? Like 7th grade, 8th grade? Because I introduced you to Impulse Tracker first, and then you found this sort of Windowsy Impulse Tracker wannabe, which was ModPlug, like a year or two after that. I don't remember how that whole thing worked, but he's one of my oldest tracker buddies from back in the day. We were both making music back when we were super young. And he got super good grades and graduated, and I kept making music. So I'm not really sure who won, but... Alright, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to load up the music from David's game, because one of the tracks that I made is really short, so it'll be really easy to save over and then delete out. Then I won't have to load in a bunch of instruments and stuff. So let me save Adam title. Delete the pattern I don't need. Let me clear out the pattern I've got. And I'll explain what I'm doing here in a second. Let me just set things up real quick so that we'll move smoothly. Because I'm going to be making 3 songs for this one, and I only did 2 on the other 2 games. So got to make sure I keep this moving along rather briskly. So I'm going to save that, and then I'm going to save 2 other copies. I'm going to save Adam... Actually, crap, I technically need 4 songs. Well, alright, let's make 4. Adam... Regular drive. We're going to save Adam... Target. And we're going to save Adam Murder. This is my song. Yes. The sheer level of inside jokes you guys were just present to is absurd. Now, I know it doesn't sound like a lot since it was 4 words, but yeah, your minds should all be blown right now if they're not already. So we got Adam title, Adam target, and Adam murder. And by the way, Adam, for the murder mode, I'm going to do the boss, or the mini-boss theme from Calcutta, because it just seems perfect. So let me X out of this complicatedness and open it again and open the right thing. So with this title song, which I'm going to use the Game Over theme from Calcutta as well for this. So let me walk you through kind of how this works, right? So we got this giant... It almost looks like programming when you make digital music through Tracker. So we've got these, as you can see right now, we've got 5 channels. The reason that there are 5 channels and no more is that I'm, as faithfully as possible, there we go, Calcutta has the greatest soundtrack in the world. The regular Nintendo only has 5 total channels, and they all have an assortment of restrictions on what the channels are capable of, what types of instruments those channels can run, how many volume settings per channel is possible. I mean, there's a host of random restrictions, and thanks to a lot of Googling and some really, really helpful people who I talk to on YouTube who make Nintendo music, I've been able to get a pretty clear whole picture of all of the various system-side restrictions of Nintendo-style music. The chip itself is called the 2A03 chip, and let's walk through kind of how these work, right? So we've got 4 basic tonal instruments that are usable. There are 2 instruments that are basically copies of each other, and those 2 instruments are able to use 3 different square wave style samples. So let me play the first one. First one is a square wave cut at the 50% mark, and this sounds like this. We've all heard that kind of sound a million times in a Nintendo game. There's a square wave cut at the 25% mark, which sounds like this. Which, I mean, again, if you think about, you know, Kid Icarus, all sorts of old Nintendo games, I'm sure you can immediately assign Nintendo game music to that sound. And then we got this guy. We got cut at 12.5%. The two channels that are capable of manipulating these three waveforms are arguably the most advanced channels on the board. These channels allow all sorts of pitch bend and sweeping effects, really fast speed, arpeggiation, all sorts of little crafty stuff. Every sound effect you've ever heard on a Nintendo game was also run in real time using these same channels. So when you go back and play old games, when you hear a sound effect, the channel that sound effect is playing through is no longer playing the stage music. So they write over that channel with the sound effect that's playing. So you'll be able to go back and play the old stuff a little more analytically, kind of looking for these types of under the hood, you know, what have you. So what I use is I use channels 2 and 3 to emulate the two square wave 16 velocity channels. Oh, speaking of which, there are only 16 total volume settings. I'm not sure if that includes volume 0, meaning off, or not. So it may be 17. It's probably off in 15, but regardless, in order for me to faithfully emulate that, I have this this tiny little thing that's highlighted right there, that little 64 that you're seeing. That is the maximum channel volume, which is volume 64. So in order to accurately emulate the restrictions of the soundboard itself, I have to set my volume in multiples of 4. So I can't use volume 63 or volume 62 or volume 47, you know, what have you. I have to do 64, 60, 56, 52, 48. I also can't do volume slides down. I have to manually set the volume in order to do, you know, like a decrescendo kind of effect or a crescendo. I have to do all that manually because Nintendo couldn't support just tell us you want to fade it up and we'll take care of it for you based on speed. Maybe people could have programmed a way to do that. I'm not really sure, but I can't figure out a way to do that differently in ModPlug and not break spec, so I just manually set the volume all the time. So we've got channels 2 and 3 are capable of messing with that. Channel 1 is what I use for bass, and the way that bass works is it's something called a triangle wave, which is literally just a wave file that kind of starts in the middle of it. In fact, I can show you. It's the advantage of this thing. So that's how the square duty cut at 12.5 looks. That's how 25 looks. That's how 50 looks. And that's how the triangle wave looks. Now, if you notice, what it's doing is the 16th step refers to how many individual chunks it's going up and down. You see kind of how that looks in the waveform? And again, this isn't exact. This is something that I set up myself that's really close, but not 100% perfect. So, if we play this, hop back over here to Pattern Editor. So that is the sound that most every Nintendo game used for its bass instrument, because if you play it really low, and let me do a little